Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Subject is Advanced Corporate Finance and topic is on capital structure theory. This is second lecture on capital structure theory. Learning agenda for today lecture is Miller and Modigliani and Miller theory, irrelevance theory, trade-off theory, that is the same two researcher gave another theory which is called Modigliani and Miller relevancy theory. Taking order theory, market timing theory, signaling theory. First, Modigliani and Miller theory approach. It support net income operating approach and negate traditional theory. The net income approach is basically postulates that capital structure have no relevancy with the value of the firm. No matter the company is 100% debt financing or 100% equity financing, this nature of financing do not have any impact on firm valuation. Second is weighted average cost of capital does not change with the mix of debt and equity. Means if we increase high debt, it will not affect this weighted average cost of capital, and if we imply low debt, it will have no impact on weighted average cost of capital. So it differs from net income approach because it explains its irrelevancy on the basis of arbitrage prices in homemade leverages. We will discuss these arbitrage prices and homemade leverages. Let us discuss this Modigliani and Miller approach, who says that there is, let's suppose, weighted average cost of capital. It does not change with the increase in the degree of leverage. It means if we imply high degree of debt, that overall cost of capital will not be increases. This proposition is on the basis of relation between cost of capital, capital structure and value of firm. There are three things. These are discussed in Modigliani-Miller approach. First is cost of capital, weighted average cost of capital. Second is capital structure, that how much debt and equity should be implied, and third is the value of the firm. Cost of capital is equal to the required rate of investor who are investing in the firm. Equity classes of homogeneous risk rather than calculated on the basis of capital structure. So cost of capital should not be is not calculated on the basis of capital structure. It is calculated on the basis of that investors are willing to invest in that specific company or similar company who have a homogeneous risk for the investors. Third is arbitrage mechanism will automatically equate equity prices of levered and unlevered firm. That is means arbitrage is basically, this is the process in which the investor or the any trader make riskless profit. It basically possible when there are two different segments of the market or two different market have difference in their prices of same one and same thing, and the investor buy at one segment, sell at other segment, and similarly this will ultimately equate the prices of both segment or both markets. Investor can make homemade leverages by copying the firm capital structure. If, for example, let's assume that I'm investing in certain textile firm and whose capital structure is 50% debt and 50% equity. I'm in a position to copy the same for my personal portfolio. Means I can sell 50% of one. Let's suppose I have 1% of that textile mill. I sell 1% of that shareholding and borrow the same amount personally, and then copying exactly the same capital structure for myself. That's why the investors are not worried about the capital structure, because they are able to made it in a by themselves in home. Modigliani illustration: suppose there are two firms, A Limited and B Limited. Both are same in respect except their capital composition. Shareholder equity is, let's suppose, 1 million and 600,000 for B. Debt is 400,000. So total equity is 1 million, but for a B, the combination of the equity is debt and equity, 40% debt and 60% equity. Let's suppose EBIT, net operating income before interest and tax, is 100,000 and 100,000 for B. Interest expense for A nothing, for B 20,000, because 5% debt have been implied. So 5% of the 400,000 is equal to 20,000. Earning available to the shareholder, that is 100,000 in case of A, while 80,000 in case of B. 12%. So required cost of equity from A, the equity holder, required rate of return is 10%, because there is no risk in A, while the increase is their required rate of return in case of B, because it is high levered firm and there is a risk of default and risk of repayment of interest. So we will calculate value on the basis of required rate of return. Value of the equity, exactly, this is whole firm value is equal to value of the equity, that is 1 million, while value of equity for the B is 66,667. How? This 80,000 is divided by 12%, we get that much. Value of the firm, because this is earning available to equity holder, and equity, this 80,000 is available to equity holder, and that is been divided by 12%. It will be equal to 66,667. Value of the debt is 400,000. So value of the firm is 1 million. Here is 1,066,667. So weighted average cost of capital in this case is 9.38. Why 9.38? 9.38 is basically that is portion of equity divided by total portion of debt divided by total. This is weight of equity in weight of debt, weight of equity multiplied by cost of equity, weight of debt multiplied by cost of debt. So weighted average cost of capital is 9.38. Dollar. Homemade leverages and arbitrage. Assume that Mr. Shafiq has 1% of B Limited. He will dispose 1% of B Limited. 1% is equal to 6,667 rupees. Borrow 1% of the B Limited, that is 4,000. 1% of what? Let's move to the back one slides. 1% of this and 1% of this. Just he is copying the same capital structure in his personal capacity. So this is basically, this rupees come when he dispose his shareholding in B Limited. This amount come when he borrow at 1%, equal to 1% of the of B Limited. Total amount with Mr. Shafiq is now 10,667.67. He will buy A Limited share of the same amount. How much? For the same amount. Percentage of shares of A Limited is now 1.67%. So 1.67% is the shareholding of Mr. Shafiq in A. Now, company A is earning 100,000. So Mr. Shafiq earning in that earning is 1066.67. He will pay the interest 200. Now, earning available to that guy is 867, while when he was consistent when stuck with B Limited, he would have that much earning and no interest, so that much earning. Now he is saving 6.67%. Similarly, other people will do the same process. At one point, the A Limited and B Limited share prices will become equal. If the people start selling of B Limited and buying A Limited, selling of B Limited will tend the share price of B Limited down, and buying of E Limited will tend the share price upward. So these prices will become equal because of arbitrage process. What is the criticism on Miller and Modigliani approach? Assumptions are unrealistic. That is, first, there are taxes. He assumed the world without taxes. Perfect capital market, there is no perfect capital market is not available. Arbitrage process is imperfect. An imperfect market is of no use. Means the arbitrage process is not that much efficient when the market is not efficient. Existence of transaction cost will limit the arbitrage process. It is not so easy that Mr. Fique will dispose the share in B Limited and will buy the share of A Limited, because there are brokerage expenses, there are taxes, there are other charges in the market which will cost to stop Mr. Shafiq to dispose the share of B Limited. So these assumption is that there is no transaction cost. So no transaction cost of transaction are always there in the market as well. Transactions are limit the arbitrage process and opportunity of profit ceases to exist. Means because of transaction cost, maybe there is any profit, and that profit may be less than the cost of transaction, so the people will not start buying and selling at the same speed as we are expecting in arbitrage process. Homemade leverage is not alternative for corporate leverage. Investors, even it is not possible to exactly copy the capital structure of the company, because maybe we don't have the exact amount of borrowing at the exact interest rate on which the corporate have borrowed the amount. So exactly copying or exactly same interest rate or the amount available to you will not be possible in the market. Taxes are ignored which provide tax saving and interest expense for the levered firm. That is another criticism on approach. Trade-off theory, Modigliani and Miller relevancy theory. On the basis of this criticism, Modigliani and Miller rethink their position and revise its study and consider taxes in a capital structure decision. Interest on tax is a tax deductible expense while payment to the shareholder, such as dividend, is not admissible for the tax deduction. So interest is tax deductible, so borrowing is attractive for the company in order to finance the project because of tax saving. Value of levered firm will be higher by any amount of tax saving. So if there are two type of firm, one is levered by, one is finance, one implied finance, debt financing in their capital structure, while other is fully financed by equity. The firm which are implying debt, will have higher value. How much higher value? The tax saving, the amount of tax saving. Example, let's VL is the value of levered firm and VU is the value of unlevered firm, while tax rate is, let's suppose, T, and the amount of debt is D. So VL will be equal to, means value of levered firm will be equal to value of unlevered firm plus tax savings. This is pecking order theory. Basically, firm financing strategy follow a specific path. First of all, it will pick those resources which are available to the company without any cost, and then they will go for those resources for to finance their project which have a bit lesser cost, and the last the company will use those sources of financing which have a higher cost than other two sources of financing. So financing strategy based on the path of least resistance. Pecking order is internal financing is the first option to use for financing new ventures, such as retained earnings, are used to finance new venture. Second is debt is second option of internal financing when internal financing ceases to exist. For example, if the company is financing a project that is too much huge that it consumes whole internal financing, mean retained earnings of the company, then the company will go to borrow from any institutions. And the project is, if the project is so big that it doesn't its financing are not made even by internal sources, debt, then the equity financing need formality in costly method they will use at least as a last resort by the company. So this is the pecking order. First internal financing, second debt, and third is equity. Market timing theory. It answers to how firms in the economy decided whether to finance with share or with the debt instrument. That is not based on any pecking order on any tax saving. Basically, company will see that what the market tell us to finance the project. For example, firm pay attention to the market condition in an attempt to time the market. For example, choose the form of financing which at the point in time seems more valued by the financial market. If the financial market value fixed income securities, the firm should issue a fixed income security. If the market value preferred stock, that the company should issue preferred stock. If the market value common stock, that the firm should issue a common stock to finance their project. If it is hard equity period, then issue shares, and if it is hard debt period, then issue a debt instrument. It is against a trade-off and pecking order theory. It is based on market valuation of the financial instrument that the management will see and watch the timing of the market. Signaling theory. Debt is considered riskier as compared to equity as a result of in bankruptcy. So debt penalize manager in case of bankruptcy, and debt holder also monitor manager's performance. If this theory suggests that the manager issue debt instrument in order to send positive signal to the market, because that we are company is good and able to pay the interest as well as principal amount. Positive signals become shareholder. What is positive signal? Why? Because shareholder concluded that the manager have good reason to issue a debt. This will push upward market value of the firm. Thank you. This was all about today's lecture.